Hello.
Happy King's Day, Andy.
Happy King's Day. I've got an orange hat on to celebrate this moment.
I can't say that I have anything orange on me today. It's one of the most obnoxious colors.
I've learned to love it in the meantime. It's turn. Ronnie asked me the other day what my favorite color was, and I told her it was orange. So
Good.
it's changed since I moved here. It is a special day. Today, we are going to be doing something very random. I had this idea last week. I was just excited. Everyone was telling me they were having weird dreams. And I said, if you're having weird dreams, then other people must be having weird dreams. So let's just have a show on the weird dreams people are having.
Let's do it.
So
On
we are going
a
to do this.
wonderful
Chaos. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to be a fun show.
So, Andy, are you dreaming?
Um, you know, because of the show, I looked into dreams and I saw that basically, in general, people have the vivid dreams 90 minutes after they've fallen asleep in their REM sleep.
Yeah.
And then I always thought that when I was dreaming, it was earlier in the morning. Like I didn't realize that it's basically an hour and a half after I'm asleep, and then I'm remembering it in the morning, which is quite a long distance. Hopefully, if I've slept well afterwards. So I feel like I'm dreaming, but I don't remember the dreams right now. So I don't. Where I've seen dreams play a bigger role in my life were when I was suppressing emotions, and then I had real dreams, like serious dreams. But before we go there, I wanted to discuss something else. Yeah. Some of you were aware last week's show we had Phyllis on. Phyllis was the woman who I'd known for many years. We had some just beautiful contact. She had cancer for the fourth time when she came on last week, and when she was there, she shared. She even said to me, "Saturday will be my last show." Like she said that in the session. So,
like she said, she had a show somewhere.
Well, she was going to be doing her almost. I don't know now, but I'm kind of assuming that it was like her goodbye show. So her goodbye to life, as if she already knew then, but she didn't want to say, I'm basically going to allow myself to say goodbye to this life. So what I thought was quite beautiful was that in some ways, when Phyllis was on, we were fully present with her, right? And yet at that moment, that she also was very in touch with this is going to be sort of my last hurrah.
Yeah.
So that was it was important for me. Like when she said goodbye, it was interesting. I've always told you that when I say goodbye to someone, I always want to say goodbye like it's the last time I'm going to see them.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because at that point, I didn't really know that would be the last time I saw her. And yet I felt all the love that I felt for her, and I shared that like in the goodbye. And then when I found out she actually died, which I wasn't knowing that it was coming. I mean, I knew she was sick and I knew it was going to happen, but there was like a moment of like that deep sadness when you know you know that's the last time you're going to be able to see them. And it hit me, and it was interesting because when I did the TV appearance in Northern California, right? With the morning show, the radio or the TV guy, interviewer said to me, "What would you have said differently?" Like when I wrote the letter to my mom, because most people know I basically wrote a letter to my mom that she got basically a few hours before she died, and I said, and it was really emotional for me to say, it was, "I'm going to miss you." Like there was nothing unsaid, but there was just that one moment of said, "I'm going to miss you." And you can only say, "I'm going to miss you," when you're almost like on the verge of knowing that they won't be there at that moment. Because to say, "I'm going to miss you," sort of feels a bit arbitrary Then again, it's not, because you could say that to anyone that you care about. I'm going to miss you.
Yeah.
But in a way, um, saying it to her was more like what I wanted to say to her now is, I'm going to miss you.
Hmm.
I'm going to miss you. And to feel like she was on the show, knowing that she was going to transition out of this bodily function. She knew that when she was on that show. And yet we were together for that time in just love, in humor and fun. She didn't ask anything of anyone. She didn't take up the space and force herself to say, no, 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 this has to be about my transitioning out of here. I mean, talk about an incredible person.
Yeah.
Like I thought, as I went in, I thought, God, when I go out, that's the strength and the love and the joy I want to go out with. Like, I want to be living to the last day as I lived every other day, and not like, oh, now it's come to the end. Now I'm going to do or say all the things that I had to say then.
Nice.
So with that, I brought a candle that Thomas didn't understand, but I brought a candle for our show today, and just in memory of her. So I have it in front just to acknowledge this beautiful being in the world, and the fact that that she comes to us in another way now. But
Yeah.
so it's it is a wonderful chaos, but and sometimes it's just the emotions we pull from are very different. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
When I saw that you posted the picture of
yeah,
her lying in her deathbed,
yeah,
as it seems, I rewatched the live that you and Mariana did
yeah,
together, and yeah, it was like part of it was like, I wish I could hug you at least once, but
yeah, yeah. As a being, somebody who fully showed up, was fully allowing herself to be who she was, and allowed everyone else to be who they were without that judgment, which you see only comes with a deep, deep wisdom and insight.
yeah,
Like, I get to be me and you get to be you, and we both get to enjoy whatever that is without having to make it anything else. So in that way, what a wonderful being, and what a wonderful opportunity we had to spend really some of the last moments of her life together doing something that she also loved. So how much do I cherish that opportunity we had? And it also made it clear to me that we get to do this not knowing what it'll bring me, but if that's the only thing it brought me, then my God, what an incredible opportunity I had just because of this action. Yeah.
thanks
Cool.
for sharing, Andy.
Cool. And now we transition to dreams.
Yeah, I have to say, I don't dream, or I dream and I don't remember, but the moments in my life where I'll be in touch with my dreams
Yeah.
is when I've eaten after 6:30 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
And normally I don't eat after that time because it just feels really heavy in my
Yeah.
body. So I just don't have any dreams. When Andy said, let's do a show on dreams, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do it. I'll pretend to be Freud. Yes, let's
I
do
saw it.
it.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, this one doesn't get you excited at all. I almost thought it was interesting because I've often seen, and in reading a few articles that I did before we started, was that really at moments like this, when you change behavior, when there's stress, that stuff that's unprocessed in you, it goes into the subconscious and comes out in weird, contorted ways when you're asleep. There's a whole website only to COVID dreams. It's called COVID-19 Dreams, I believe. We'll check it out. I posted it already, but COVID-19 Dreams. But it would be fun just to jump into maybe one or two of the dreams right now and just interact. We also have a dial-in as well. I can post that immediately. I'll post in what it is so people can come in. We'll take people if you come. We'll have to organize it, but you'll come in and we'll have a nice talk with you. Here it is. If you want to come on and share your dream, then great. Let's do it. We'll be going from dream to dream. So we'll hear your dream, have a little fun, and then move on. So let's go. If you can get one of the first dreams up, then we'll sort of move to that. Yeah, we have one right above there. Yeah, great. Let's just see. Right now we have. I think you have to
move to Holland.
Oops. Maria. Okay.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Maria,
Put it on the screen.
and right before I moved to Holland, I used to have this recurring. I was either swimming or flying or running, but it was always this entity behind me following me. And I was running away, obviously. So right before I was caught, I either fall or I jump or whatever happened. I woke up, and these dreams stopped as soon as I moved to Holland. And this was happening maybe once a week for years. So now that I'm here already for several years, and I've been having this dream, also recurring dream, where I'm being followed, but I'm being persecuted to be killed, either with knives or guns or bombs, or I've been kidnapped. Sometimes I'm the one doing the following, to realize that I'm the one who is being killed. So it's quite disturbing, and it's a bit of a nightmare. So I wondered if there's any correlation to my previous dream. Why is it happening now with such an intensity? So yeah, curious. Thank you.
Wow.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity.
Wow. Yeah.
So before she came to Holland, she had this dream,
Yeah.
and now with the COVID, she's getting it again.
Yeah. I
Is that
mean,
right?
you can think about it like I've noticed, like I said before, every time changes in patterns come up, like I get like for example, when like I have a dream I've had ever since I was a kid that was when I would leave for the airport and feel like I wasn't organized or on top of things, then I had this dream, and the dream takes me right back to when I was in college, and I didn't know if I had enough credits to graduate. And I was taking all these classes, but I didn't know if the classes added up to enough numbers so that I could graduate. And if I didn't have enough numbers, then basically I'd have to stay another quarter. And this subconsciously wreaks so much havoc on me out of fear that somehow deep in my brain, it always comes up whenever I have to like get on an airplane.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, not nowadays, but I mean, like if there's a feeling unprepared for something, let's put it that way. It hasn't come up in a long time, actually, but I remember it vividly because it happens so often. Same dream over and over again. Not prepared for the exam. So, I mean, what I'm hearing here is like similar, like the patterning that shows up when discomfort arises, which is
the word that came for me was instability.
uh-huh.
Like she came to her and then she became stable.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden her life is again unstable.
Yeah. Yeah. It will make sense, right? Is that to some degree, when there's like a stability or instability, there's like always there's always some aspect that's not round that comes up in the subconscious. I mean, look at me. I need you to come back. Like, where are you now? Like,
Oh, I smiled because I saw Rani.
I know you did, but now stay with me here.
Okay.
So when you when we're in this talk now,
Yeah.
like where are you now?
I have to admit that
You're not here.
I'm trying to be here.
I know. I see it. So where are you?
Trying to jump to the next dream.
What if we didn't even need to organize that? What if it was just the two of us being present together? Is that enough?
That's perfect.
Good.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you organizing shit and thinking that you're not here. Like the joy we have is being here, not like organizing things that are there. If everything goes bad, it goes bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing it. Thanks for doing that.
Sometimes when I'm here, I mean, I don't know. Like sometimes I'm not in my body, but somehow I can embrace not being in my body. In some weird way.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, even though if I'm not here, fucking embrace your body.
Yeah, embrace. Okay, we'll go ahead, and Ronnie's up there. We'll go ahead. This is Ronnie.
That's his wife.
Oh, my dreams about shoes. You know that.
Please share with me any dreams you've been having more recently because of the COVID virus.
Well, in the past 6 weeks that I've been homebound,
Uh-huh.
I have been having this recurring dreams in different setup, but it's been happening 4 times.
Okay.
The gist is that I cannot find my shoes, and you might think, what's the relevance of me not finding my shoes? Well, I walk barefoot at home, or I wear socks, but I don't wear shoes inside inside my home. So in the dream, it would not be in the house. It would be somewhere else. But the story is always that I could not find my shoes, and either someone took my shoes or I see shoes that are not mine, but I cannot do what I wanted to do or go to place I wanted to place because my shoes are gone. I don't know where they are. And even in one dream, there was a person who actually borrowed my shoes and she walked somewhere and she came back without my shoes. And I said, how am I going to leave this place then? And she said, well, pick other shoes. And I just couldn't find the shoes that I like. So then I was stuck. So I think the gist was I was stuck. The feeling of stuck.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you.
Wonderful.
That was Ronnie.
Thank you, Ronnie, for offering yourself in that way.
Isn't it great?
It feels like he cornered you on a walk.
Ronnie, I need you to share what's going on. Actually, she was one of the first ones who I heard about the dreams from. She says, Andy, my shoes, I can't ever find my shoes in the dream. I can't ever get out of the house. So the shoes became the representation of the freedom that she can't have.
And she loves shoes, doesn't she?
She loves shoes. But she said to me afterwards, which I thought was really beautiful. She smiled after we had this discussion, and she said, oh, wow, I just have to be comfortable going out without shoes.
I love it.
Yeah, it was nice.
So in terms of the corona, she has to find comfort. She just has to find comfort in being in this situation right now.
Yeah, that was clearly. The whole point was not being able to make peace with the situation was all this representation of the shoes. Like the shoes were the thing that were getting in the way for just being at peace, right?
I love this, Freud.
Yeah, I love that one. That was kind of obvious, though. I mean, there wasn't a lot of thought needed to go into that because she actually already told me so. So that was a cool one. There was another one. Maybe before we go to another one, we can look on the Chaos site. There was one thing I published, which I thought was such a cool one. We'll go to this page. I'll show it to you because I posted it online before, which was a link to it was a link to the COVID-19 page. I thought I saw it on here, but oh, here it is. Just to kind of, oh, we can't share that one page, I guess. We're on the wrong one. I have to go back, share another screen. I'm going to share Chrome tab. Here we go. So these are basically everyone who's been posting their Thank you, Iris. We've just been speaking about you for like the last 3 minutes and you didn't hear us.
Yeah, we
So-
said all kind of things about you.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were off. I think you tapped me off and I didn't tap us back on again on this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically all we were saying, Iris, thank you for letting us know, was that you stated about lucid dreaming is that I've heard similarly that the more someone becomes more conscious of their thoughts, as it were, the more that less that they actually dream, and the more that they kind of are in a constant sort of wake state. So I've heard that often a lot.
Yeah,
that was basically what we talked about before. And thank you, Iris, for letting us know that. Otherwise, we might have gone on for quite a long time.
it's happened before in the wonderful chaos.
Where are you at? Somehow I'm not with you now at the moment. Like, I don't know where you are.
I'm surprised.
Yeah?
Yeah.
About what?
Oh, like there's an idea of how I would be here.
Uh-huh.
I guess I don't really have an answer for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But you are here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. Because I kind of feel like where would you like to go with this talk? Like, let's say now I leave and now it's your time to take the lead on this. Like, where do you take it?
Well, I would say for dreams, it's something that you also want to practice. So if you have an intention to, it's like journaling,
Mm-hmm.
an intention to remember them, then put a book next to your bed and a pen. So when you wake up, it's the first thing you do is write out your dream. I used to do that, but I just don't have that need to do that anymore. She says no sound again.
Can't hear me, no sound. That sounds so weird. Still no sound?
Hello?
That seems strange because we are online.
Let me see.
Is on.
Hello?
Hello, I hope you can hear us. I don't know why you wouldn't be. Stop this. Can you hear us now? We'll see. Maybe for some reason, maybe the fact that we had the other system on as well, for some reason that conflicted. Who knows? Yeah, it would be. Thank you, Iris. Thank God Iris is checking us out to make sure that we're functioning.
Okay. Ina can hear us.
Okay, great. So, going back to the question we had,
So Iris, it looks like
it might be a problem on Iris's side.
Iris, I think it's just from your side because
Yeah.
Ina and Magdalena can hear us.
Oh, nice.
Hey guys, nice to see you here.
Nice to see you guys here. And by the way, if you want, we do have the link. It's sent before. We'd love to have you on and to share a dream or two with us. What were you saying now, Bam?
Oh, just if you want to remember your dreams, have a journal next to your bed and write it down. And that's like what you practice also gets more enhanced in your life, right? You develop it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they said, in the articles I was reading before, if you watch like a horror movie before you go to sleep, then the likelihood that you have one of these kind of lucid dreams that's intense is going to be much greater.
Yeah.
So what you feed yourself is going to come up in the subconscious. Yeah. Cool. We have some more people on, so it would be nice to kind of go back and have a look and peek at some of the other people that were so generous enough to share.
We need to share the screen. Andy.
Yeah, we'll go there. So we have a fun one here as well. Let's get her set up.
The wonderful Sana.
The wonderful Sana. Oh, by the way, we have to. I always do the same thing. I always forget to make sure that we have the audio, right, Bam? Unless you do the audio, then no one hears.
And Emily asked me to tell a little bit about my dream that I had. I've been having a lot of weird dreams lately. At least they're way more vivid and lively than they used to be. But the one I had last night was especially interesting to me. It was so vivid to me that when I woke up, I was a bit disoriented. Basically, I was on a boat. It was a huge boat, probably because it was basically like a building on the water. And I was being chased. I was in a team of 3 or 4 people, and we were being chased on this huge building or boat. And it was kind of like an adventure land on the boat. There was like a jungle inside. There were like temples, and it was just all these really different type of landscapes, basically, that we were running through. But I know it was on the water, and I was carrying a bow and arrow, and we were with a team of 3 or 4 people that were being chased by something, and I don't even know what. But apparently I was really good with bow and arrow because that's what I had and was carrying as a weapon. And then I suddenly remember being on a dock. So that's why I think I know it was on the water, because suddenly I ran out of the jungle and I came onto a dock, and I turned around and I saw this huge ship kind of pulling the dock out from the land. So I was like, oh shit, I need to get off of this dock because it's going to break and the boat is going to pull it back in the water. So I ran off the dock, and then I realized I lost my necklace. Not this necklace. I'm usually wearing a necklace with a turquoise stone in it. And so I realized I lost it. And then I turned around and I saw it was lying on the dock that was like slowly, like the Titanic, like being pulled underwater. So I remember running back and trying to get it. And then I saw the things that were chasing me, which I don't remember what it was, like waiting for me there. So I decided to not go back and get it. But then I sort of fell off the dock, and I was pulled off the dock. So I was like holding on, and that's when I woke up. So I know, it's very weird.
Hold on.
But yeah, that was my dream of last night.
Oh, wow.
Something came to me just
What was
now.
that?
Only women posted their dreams.
I know. I noticed that. I got a comment from someone that said, and I'll leave that person nameless. They said to me, they're utterly surprised that people would be so vulnerable sharing their dreams. Yeah.
Well, one friend said the content of the dreams is sexual, and she didn't feel comfortable to share that. Ina, you're gonna have to. I don't remember your dream, so you're gonna have to, or come on with us.
Yeah,
or
moving in, and we can put it on, and then let's just say.
So, Ina, please feel free to share my dream of you moving in with me and showing me nice and innovative things you brought in my house, and also that you brought 2 dwarfs.
So it was a dream she had with you specifically.
Yeah, we had a photo shoot together, and then she dreamed.
She dreamed about you.
Or before or after, and then it was like, oh, my life, the things in my house became better because I was there. That was the gist of it.
Oh, sweet. That's nice, because then the dream in that way would in some ways mean that you brought sort of a rest to somebody, which is also really cool.
I never saw it like that. Thank you, Ina. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, if I go into like my life, right? Because I use my life, as you know, as a reference for everything that I experience. As limited as it is, I just take it seriously. Like when my mom died, I would have been, I guess, 18 years old. And the pain of the loss of that was so great that I would dream, I think it was for at least a year afterwards, that she was still alive. And the dreams were vivid. I mean, they were like crystal vivid. It's as if the desire to have her alive was so great that in my sleep I could create her to be alive again. That's how deep the need, desire, want was. And then I would go into these states, and then I would wake up, and I'd wake up, and it would take me a good 1 or 2 minutes to actually see that wasn't the reality. So I went from the state of feeling like the dream was real, and then the wake up state of seeing the reality. This was just a bad dream. And then every time for a year, the realization that she died or, was killed by the drunk driver, like it hit me over and over again. So I actually felt like I suffered the loss of my mom over and over and over again, because the dream was so real. I believed it was true until I had to face the reality as if I was told the first time over again.
So you were not fully accepting it, is what you're saying?
No.
Wow.
No. So, I mean, that dream, like living on that edge of that degree of loss and pain, and that 18-year-old brain that just couldn't make sense of what it was experiencing, was holding on to that dream, because that dream was the only thing that gave him a sense of like a peace.
How old were you, Andy?
18, 19.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, that's really when I look at my life and I look at dreams, I look at them often in that light, because I see how important they were for me then. Like, it was like the only place I could still connect with my mom.
Like, and as an 18-year-old, did you recognize, I mean, when did you recognize that, oh, I'm having these dreams because I'm not coming to terms with this?
I mean, I don't know if I ever recognized that.
Okay, so this was a recent development.
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't, like, at some point they just happen less. You don't necessarily come to the realization of it. It just, you evolve past that state, I guess. So there was no rationalization that ended it. It was just, at some point, it just, I think what probably one of the points, because I think in some weird way, once you have accepted, of course, something, then the byproduct is that whatever you resist tends not to impact you as much. I think what I accepted at that point was there's a lot of things I had to accept in that process. But I think one of the earliest things is that when she died, I guess there's a moment when there were two moments critical. But the first one was when I basically just decided to commit suicide, in that sense of emotional suicide. Like, I saw that the pattern of reliving the pain over and over again without any future need, desire, want, like absolutely nothing was meaningful to me at all after her death. Like, I had to commit suicide with whoever that person was, because there was no future for that person anyways. So in some ways it was like I have to redefine, and it wasn't a logical, like, let me redefine it. It was literally saying, you're dead. So almost like as if I had my own funeral to just mourn that death of that Andy, and then let whatever comes out to be different than what is before. But yeah, I had to let that guy die, because that whole process of reliving over and over again was so bad. I mean, I had to go to some point I had to go to the doctor because I held the pain in my anus. I had blood, and that kind of, like, it was that depth of pain. So I had to make big changes. Yeah.
Wow, you really drew me in.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. I mean, that was the first, it was from 18, 19, 20, I think. I think part of my own evolution and why I left America at 20 was to get away from that pain. Like, it was like whatever reality I had, I couldn't associate with anymore. All those friends that were happy-go-lucky, just out of school, out leaving the house for the first time, like, I needed to say, hey, I actually can't identify with that. So all I've got right now is the fact that this guy who's a shell of whatever he was before is now acting in the world and suffering in a way that no one can connect. No one could connect with me on that level of pain. Not at 18 years old.
No,
or 19. Yeah, and that's how it played. The dreams would play out in my life in that sense. Deep suppression of emotions or desires, and then the dreams over and over again. Yeah, and to the point that I didn't want to sleep anymore, because sleeping would often be associated with the pain of waking up. Yeah.
I've never had that.
Yeah, that's
Julia Thompson.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy, I'm crying now, and you talk about your mom. I'm facing a reality that involves someone I love deeply but cannot be with him fully because he has other responsibilities and isn't fully available. It's heartbreaking. Can you see me finding a partner who matches me on all levels and who is fully available? Bless you.
Of course. The beauty of life is that we actually get to, I would say, the more we fully embrace who we are and don't compromise, it's like almost like I always see this like wavelength that we get to put in the world.
Yeah.
And like the stronger the wavelength is, because we're actually resonating with a very consistent message, easy to understand, easy to find connection to, then the people that are actually meant to connect with us at that wavelength, they find us.
Beautifully said, Andy.
And the more we try to adapt, I mean, nothing tends to work when you adapt, because basically in the end, you're still trying to be something for someone else. And yeah, we all know where that leads. Not sustainable, not sustainable at all. Do we have one or two other ones on the people that we do have one at least up there, right?
That was it, right?
No. We have
Judith.
We have Judith Judith up there, and we can put her on the screen.
And here we go.
I've been having this dream almost every night that I'm in a strange city I don't know, but that feels so familiar. And it's black and white, and it's like an Escher drawing. So there's staircases and alleyways that don't lead anywhere, but yet they do. And I know they do. And I meet someone every night there who I miss and I haven't seen in a long time. And I can go back to the dream the next night. And the other night, I met someone I haven't seen in a long time who feels like a guardian angel. And we were just there sitting on the stairs in each other's presence, knowing that we know this place. And it felt like magic.
Yeah, that's Judith.
Yeah. Knowing Judith, it also sounds that her dream is actually also part of her reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you see that?
Well, she has someone who's very dear to her.
Yeah.
And when she talks about him, even though haven't spoken for 10 years, I think.
Okay.
She sometimes sees that he'll post something and she'll connect to it immediately, and potentially vice versa, and that they're always on the same wavelength.
And so what you're saying is, to some degree, that she loves this person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough to be dreaming.
Yeah.
And I love that. It felt very intentional how she also set up the space.
Obviously, she's an actress. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed that when we went into the dreams, I expected there to be a lot more sharing, right? Because I reached out to 2 or 3 groups. I see that.
So Andy says, Bambos, just go up to random people, stand 1.5 meters away from them, take your phone out, tell me your dreams. So I actually did this, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
I wish you would have filmed yourself doing that. That would have probably been more interesting than their answers.
Well, that means I would have had two phones. So I started filming this guy, and he started telling me about his dream, but his vision about the world, that he wanted to have like rechargers on the lamppost.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you're not dreaming. This is like a vision, right? He's like, yeah. It's like when you're sleeping, and then he froze. And so everyone,
I love it.
I did stop also people in the supermarket, and they said, we don't dream. I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow. It's interesting because if you think about it, like I had the same thing when I was speaking to Ronnie about it, is that when you speak to dreams, immediately it's associated with what is your dream of the future, as opposed to what are the things you are dreaming about at this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that as well. I had that a reaction as well, which is interesting. You see the StreamYard link there. Again, we'd love for you to click on that and bring you on to discuss your dreams if you're there.
Yeah.
We've been looking forward to having this random,
well, actually, Andy was looking forward. That was just coming.
True. I've been looking. Well, I want to test the programming. Like, we only get to do certain things if we get what do you call it? Interaction. So otherwise, we have to do more straight programming. I'd love to be interacting with people more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I also want to acknowledge that you picked a subject. Like I would imagine, like if you dream, like some of the friends that said they wanted to post.
Yeah.
They said, it's very sexual.
Oh yeah.
And I don't feel comfortable sharing sexual dreams.
Interesting. Of course. But I mean, you you said you ate and you did a few nights ago and you had, a sexual experience. Did you have the experience without having any dream associated with it? Or do you know that there was a dream there?
Yeah,
or-
but it wasn't a repetitive dream. So pretty much, yeah. So
no,
pretty much.
what do you think? What do you, what,
Oh, because you didn't name it. You said the experience.
well, I mean, I could say, like, I could be very descriptive in it. I was trying to be generous.
I know, but I already talked about it on my own.
Okay,
live.
so Bambos.
Can I please do the honor? Yeah, thanks. So in general, I say that I avoid eating after 6:30 in the evening because it just difficult to digest, and I tend to dream only when I eat. So it's rare. And in this case, I did dream, and it's normally a wet dream. And in this specific dream, I was having sex with someone that I didn't want to have sex with.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like I knew I didn't want to have sex with her, and she was on top of me.
Ah.
And that was the dream. So
basically, you didn't even get like the benefit of the dream, even in any weird way. It's not like you got to have like a. It was like a. Oh no. Oh.
So and there's another part to it.
Okay.
When people share dreams,
Uh-huh.
it can be vulnerable for them, I imagine, because if you're going to analyze it, maybe it's also revealing something about them. And I can imagine that's very confronting also.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, of course. I mean, this whole idea was to like share in the vulnerability. We're not going to, I guess calling it full Freud was also making it a little bit harder for people to feel comfortable. But I mean, in some ways, I think that dreams already speak to us the things that we're meant to actually take from them. I mean, if we just say, what is, like, if I ask myself, what is this telling me? Like, the answer might change every single day, because in anything in our lives, we can say, what is this trying to tell me? But on some level, and the fact that there is the potential that we're suppressing something, it can tell us a lot about ourselves. Like a hell of a lot, like what's really going on for me at the moment. I remember, there's another dream I have. Oh yeah.
Slow down.
Sorry. Yeah.
Can you hold on to that?
I just want to jot it down. My brain, I forget everything if I don't. Okay, go ahead. What are you going to say?
Well, do you need to dream in order to ask that question? I mean, you're pretty much introspective, right?
No, you don't need to, but you don't need to, but there's like this, there's this opportunity you have to use that as another gateway in.
As a tool.
Yeah, as a tool.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your dream, Andy? Shalef?
There's a dream. Like, I can go back into it. It's such an I totally forgot about it till just now. I have a very empathetic state, so I can go back into the feeling I felt when I have that dream, and it's the following. I'm at a theater, sitting in the audience, looking at the stage performance, and then something happens immediately, and it flips, and I become the performer on the stage. And then the person who was on the stage then obviously switches seats or whatever with me. I don't see it that far. And then I have to take over the role, but I don't know the lines. And I sit there, and it's one of the most uncomfortable. I haven't had it in years, but I had it often at times. And I had it, and it was so uncomfortable. Like, so uncomfortable.
I actually don't know you in this way. Like, I know that you're very comfortable in your life going into situations without a structure.
Yeah, but I mean, these dreams would have been predominant when I was working in Austria.
Okay, that was a long time ago then.
Yeah. I mean, but you have to think, when I feel something, I can go back to the feeling as if I had it yesterday.
Yeah. So that was more the Andy that was controlling.
Of course.
Yeah.
The one I saw was like, I remember, because I had to do 2 or 3 hours of a presentation to IT managers around technology I didn't even understand. And I was in constant fear. They're going to see that I don't know what I'm talking about. They're going to see I don't know what I'm talking about. They're going to see I don't know. So I actually lived in that fear for like a good 2 or 3 years. I mean, you got to remember, I became a marketing director without having ever done a marketing course in my life for a company that was going public. Like, think about the like the amount of tension you hold in your body when you're that like knowing you don't know something that's like pretty much the prerequisite for the job you have. And the company was going public. I was managing, I don't know, 16 countries. Think about yourself being dropped in that situation, like the amount of like suppressed emotional discomfort that has to like. And then now you're going to travel around Europe for 3 months, sit in front of 30 groups of IT directors who've basically studied it and tell them what their future of IT is going to be. Like that was the life I had.
I love it. And you navigated it, right?
I mean, the first show I threw up. Like I was so scared. I called up the finance director and said, I don't know what the hell is going to happen. I just went to the bathroom and threw up. I mean, I was like scared. It was, and so that level of fear basically wreaked havoc in my brain when I was, in that state of not knowing. And obviously, as you stated earlier, not feeling comfortable with not knowing. Now I kind of look at everyone as not knowing. I think that the greatest insight you take away from life is seeing that everyone really doesn't know, and yet sometimes we kid ourselves and think they do know what they do. And then we get like kind of in awe of someone. There's no one that I'm really in awe of. People inspire me, but I'm not like, oh my God, this person is so incredible. Why what they've done? That doesn't happen anymore. You?
If I get inspired by people,
I mean, like what at this moment, like where do you feel at all? I know you're doing your 1 hour sessions, your lives. So in my mind, it's almost like you're in some ways training yourself to be at peace with navigating what is over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's like almost like, oh, I can survive for an hour doing a live, not knowing what I'm going to do. And then it somehow works out.
But it does come with a lot of surrender. Like last week was more me talking. Guys, don't watch this. It's just me practicing. Like it sucks. Like I'm just going to be talking about me, how I'm feeling right now. And there's nothing there. And I got comments like, oh, like watching your live really brings me peace. I'm like, really?
Yeah, I mean, I've checked in, and whenever I've checked in at you, I've always enjoyed watching them. And I enjoy watching them because I just feel that you're at peace. So when you watch someone that's at peace, you feel peace more than what they say. There's nothing worse than a person like saying one thing and then behaving another way and feeling the tension, like the discrepancy, and then you just get a knot in your stomach.
Well, and this radio show again.
Oh, beautiful!
And the woman was amazed that I was doing lives every day for her. She's like, when I put a YouTube video up, I'll make a video and I'll delete the first 20 before, and then people tell me I'm really good at it.
Yeah.
And she's, but you just put it on.
Yeah.
like that's what I need to allow myself to go through.
Yeah. And I mean, and what I've felt in you doing that, it's going back to the whole idea of the dream. And we'll always talk about on the show, we've discussed it quite often, of suppressing an emotion and how that emotion then defines us in the world. In some ways, the emotion that we've never discussed this, but I kind of feel like it'd be nice to share, at least now, what I've seen in terms of your journey through this is I'm going to be at peace with what is.
Yeah.
And I mean, we never talked about it, but what was it that you didn't feel at peace with before you started doing the lives? Like, what was it like? Oh, I don't feel around there.
I feel I have a lot to give to people.
Okay.
And the messages that I want to give are also carried with a lot of intensity. And to some degree, I project that they will be rejected. And so, and then what I was feeling as soon as I wanted to sit in front of it live and give a message, it came so much from the head that it would kind of choke me. And I realized I'm not at peace with speaking from that space because I'm not at peace with just allowing things to flow.
Yeah.
So as soon as I let myself go in my body, there's another message which is being transmitted, and that is, hey, let's do a live without holding on strongly to that it has to be a certain way.
Nice. And what have you learned through that? Like, what's the lesson you've taken away from doing this for 2 weeks now, I guess?
Every time I reflect on it, it's different. Like today, I just felt, I even said, oh, I see 4 people watching me. And I took a few deep breaths, and it was like, and I notice I can speak to try to keep those 4 people watching,
Yeah.
but I can also just allow myself to stay with the breath.
Yeah.
And realize that I'm doing it for me and not for you guys.
Funny. Yeah. Yeah. That's the beauty, I believe. Yeah. Is it?
And I also do share things about, like today I talked about discomfort a little bit.
Okay.
And I just said we're so attuned to comfort. Like if you want to get to know yourself, get up now and do 100 push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if you do it in one go or if you do 1 minute rest, but you'll find out so much about yourself in doing those 100 push-ups. And then tomorrow, sit under the cold shower for 10 minutes. I always want to go a bit extreme with the experience, and that's just how it works for me.
Well, let's unpack that for a moment.
Sure.
Because you say you, and I would suggest that it's not only about you in that way, is that if we don't have a contrast, so if it's just a little difference in our life, there's not much to learn, because it's not like if it's like 20 degrees outside and then it's 21 degrees, it's really hard to feel the difference between 20 and 21 degrees.
Well, it's like, or you're going to eat McDonald's for a month to see what it does for you, or you're going to go full on vegan to see what it does for you. But you can't eat McDonald's 90% and eat a salad 10% and think that your health is going to change.
Yeah. So what I hear you say, and I hear you say it often, is that create an experience which is so fundamentally different than the other experience that there'll be something new that comes out. You can't anticipate what it is ahead of time.
You can't anticipate. It's full surrender.
Yeah. But that's beautiful, because that's I mean, it's the way I know you, but we've never raised it to a principle.
I love it.
Like you've always talked about it. And I always had it as a principle in my head, but I never really discussed with you the principle that I saw you living by. And because it was more personal, you know me, I don't want things to be personal. It's like there's a principle and there's certain rules the principles have. And that was sort of one of those things.
Oh, when I say it's more that I want to make sure that I'm not saying that people have to do this.
No, I know that. Yeah. No, I got that. Yeah. I was more thinking like in some ways, I would say the impersonal, what I refer to as impersonal bambos. There's like this person does things where he can learn what there's to learn from what would be considered maybe by others as a drastic experience.
That feels good. Yeah.
And they can invite that into their lives, which doesn't take away yours or their life, but they can be invited to try it as well and see what they learn from that same experience. I mean, it's an invitation. We have Mariana. Is it Mariani? No.
Mariam Benani.
Benani, yes.
This is the first time I actually watched your program, but interesting enough, last night I had a really significant dream. Once in a while, I get these really strong dreams that feel, in a sense, prophetic. I know from the vividness and clarity of the dream that it is significant. So last night I dreamt of a medical doctor who asked me to review the charts of patients for an important research project. And there were something like hundreds of patients. And as I started going through their charts, I saw, I think she's typing.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Or maybe it breaks into 2 comments, because it might be that it crops out the, well, that's interesting. You know, there's one thing that I've often felt like people will often talk also about dreams informing their decisions. Like if they see it in their dream as they're asleep, it's almost like their subconscious is kind of guiding them in a way to do something that they might not have otherwise done. You know, like I had a dream last night that led me to do something. Yeah.
Have you had that?
I've had that before. Yeah. Yeah. What I tend to feel is that like there's the moment when, let's say I make a decision like, oh, I'm going to do a 3-month trip to the US. So now I've made this decision. It's like, okay, I've given myself permission to fully live in that reality. Then I go to sleep. And what I've seen is in the sleep is kind of like the litmus test. Like if in the sleep, I find peace with that thought, and then it's sort of kind of, I stay in the flow. And if I start to feel there's a tension or unroundness, then that's when I start to say, okay, there's something in this. And I tend to then allow that to inform me more. What is it I'm resisting? What's the tension I'm feeling? So I do that well, I do that really well compared to most. Like if I feel like there's a little unroundness in anything, what is it? And then I don't overly analyze it. I just feel into what is going on here. And then until I feel it's grounded, I just allow it to be. And and the dreams will often be a way of informing me there.
I notice I can't connect to it.
Yeah.
I've never had this experience.
Yeah, well, you also notice that for me, like I'll go through my experience is very like when one of these people shares one of these videos,
Yeah.
I don't listen to them. I feel it.
Mm.
So I don't know how you do it. Like I don't hear them. Their words are uninteresting. Like I go through the experience in my head of what they just spoke about as if like, wow, that's now another reality I just experienced.
No, I'm pretty much listening to the words. I'll listen in the way that you're talking about. If I'm in a more like real
empathetic state or something. Yeah. Well, that's my state usually.
You're always there.
Not always. I mean, it's not, but I'm often there.
Yeah.
Like if someone tells me a story, like some people tell gory stories and I can't hear them, just because like I feel it viscerally in my body. Even when Phyllis was on the show and she talked about circumcision, I like grab my penis, like, please get over, like finish the story so I can go back to not this kind of empathetic state of feeling with what was going on for these people.
Yeah, I was crying on that one.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a little bit of how I see that I process the information that comes in. It's and we all do it differently, right? I think that there's a terms for all of this. Of course, we can probably have another guest on who'll tell us the sensual and then the logical and all of this different way of experiencing the world.
Yes.
We could only see Mariam. We could only see you till like half your message. So unfortunately, we couldn't finish the rest of it.
Mm.
But we've got 3 more minutes in the dream session. How would you like to segue into what's going on for tonight with the Authentic Relating Group?
Yeah, this evening we have an hour of connection games, and this hour was a request from people because twice a week wasn't enough.
Okay.
And they just want to have one more hour in the week.
Oh, beautiful.
Where they could just call, and when we say a check-in, it means that people dial onto the call and they just share what's happening for them.
Nice.
Without interruption, without needing to be solved.
Yeah.
Or anything else. So it's really a check-in.
Feeling heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And Inspire Vulnerability. I decided to, the last letter, Inspire Vulnerability page. Next week, I decided that I was going to put up 1 or 2 videos to just guide people through writing last letters to people in their lives. Obviously, at this moment, a lot of people are going to that page just because the feeling like acute desire to reach out and write and communicate is higher than anything now, just because of the death toll that people feel anxious about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be putting a few videos up on Inspire Vulnerability, and yeah, I look very, very forward to supporting. A few groups have asked as well that I might show up and do some Zoom calls where I just hold space for people to write letters. So that also is something that I will be sharing in the future. Right?
I will actually share in the last part of my life today that I used the last letter as part of my morning journal also.
Oh, beautiful.
So even with people that I might have a judgment, I'll start writing them a letter and saying what the judgment is, and also saying what it means about me, and then sharing gratitude for opening my eyes.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So she says it's okay.
Yeah. Mariana shared her thank you and goodbye. So thank you all for joining us on A Wonderful Chaos today.
It was indeed another wonderful chaos.
And tomorrow we've got Rick Tolden. Rick Tolden is an old friend who basically was raised in LA when I was in LA. He moved out. He was I did some math. He basically is a crazy individual, 7 kids from 6 women. I keep singing Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he left, his hat was his home. And Rick, jazz musician, great musician. He's sort of freelance living around for, as long as I know. And we're going to talk to him about a lot of different stuff. He's played for Lou Rawls, and he's met Jimi Hendrix and saw him play the
Jimi Hendrix will be the person I'd love to see back on stage if that was possible.
Yeah. Can you imagine? He saw him play the national anthem, that famous scene when it was all mud. Like he was there at that time. And I kind of did the math in my head. I'm like, so basically I wasn't born when he was there. So we'll have some fun.
Wow.
So
He's quite. He looks like a character.
Yeah,
also.
he is beyond a character. So thank you for being with us today, and we will see you next time on A Wonderful Chaos. Yeah.
Adios.
Bye.